way down, just like my normal. Our intention today, I'd like for us to take a deep look at what we tend to do for our stress response. And so specifically with the COVID-19 right now, with the world kind of being turned upside down, the question is, what have I learned about myself during this time? And one of my friends on Facebook posted that question, and so I got to thinking about it, and I realized that my response to stress usually is that I kind of become this workaholic. I get myself so busy that I don't even have time to think about the stress that I might be going through. And so in particular, the theme for today has to do with me and slowing down, taking kind of a nice slow flow, calming anxiety day. And so that's what my intention is. But also think about how perhaps this relates to you. What is your response to stress and anxiety when that starts to show up in your life? And I'll share with you as we travel through our class a couple of different instances in my life when I've noticed that that's my response. But to help us just get our bodies started so that we can begin to move and flow nice and slow and gentle, I'd like us to start off with the 3-part yogic breath. This is one of the breaths that really makes you slow down the breathing process, making yourself really focus on part 1, part 2, and part 3 of the breath. And in so doing, not only do we take a deeper breath, but we also are just slowing down, calming, and becoming more present. And so the 3 parts of this breath, the first part is that the belly comes up and down. The second part is that the side ribs go out to the sides and then back in. And the third part is that the chest comes up and down. It goes in the order of belly. When we inhale, belly extends out, side ribs expand out, and then collarbones rise. With the exhale, it's opposite. Collars down first, and then side bones in, and then belly in. To help us really feel all 3 parts, let's take it one piece at a time and add on. So first we start off taking a few huge breaths into the belly and out, belly falling back down. This can be done just in and out of the nose, that's perfectly fine. And just feel yourself taking that deep inhale through nose. Beautiful exhale. And one more just with the belly. With the next inhale, belly expands out and then side ribs also expand outward. With the exhale, side ribs in and then belly in. Try to take it in that order. It's easy for us to switch the 2 to try to do ribs first. But see if you can get belly first and then side ribs out. And then side ribs in and belly in. Take another 2 just like that to really solidify that motion. Adding in the third part, inhale, belly rises, then side ribs expand, and then our collarbones float up just a little bit. This is the most subtle of the 3. Exhale, collarbones drop back down, side ribs come back in, belly drops to rest downward. So take a few breaths, really filling up your lungs to full capacity, all 3 parts. Feel how perhaps these are the deepest breaths you've taken of the entire day so far. Inhale deeply into the belly. And out. Good. I'll try to remind us as we travel through class in our poses that we're in to take this 3-part yogic breath. This breath is so helpful if you're starting to reach that stressed state. It's helpful to step back and literally just take 3 of those breaths, and you'll feel the energy shifting for you. You'll feel yourself able to focus and have more compassion and love as you interact with others. So now let's take our knees into the chest, maybe a hand on each knee, or maybe just hugging all the way around. And find simple movements that feel good for that low back. Beautiful breaths. Okay, so from here, we're going to have both hands clasped around this right knee. Left leg slides all the way along to rest on the earth. Pulling this right knee in, we're giving that front of the hip flexor that gentle compression. Check in with that psoas, with the hip flexor muscles. How do they feel right now? Stretching this right leg up to the sky, hands help to pull it in. Kind stretch for the back side of the leg. And releasing the hands, the straight leg slowly lowers all the way down to the ground. Once it touches down, hands hug around left knee. Give it several breaths. Hugging it in. See if you can find the 3-part yogic breath right here. The leg begins to straighten up to the sky. Hands help to pull it in. And as we release this leg, we slowly drop it all the way down to the ground. Once it completely releases, bring both knees back into the chest. Hands slide up to the outside edges of the feet. We're taking happy baby pose. You can rock a little bit. You can straighten and bend legs up to the sky. Your choice here. Whatever is the most kind and the most helpful for this area of the body at this point in class. We're still in this nice warming up initial stretch phase. Good. As we come out of this, bring hands to the back sides of the knees. Let's rock up toward a seated place. Immediately take cobbler's pose, spine rounding up and over. Feel the back side of the head completely relaxing, heavy, as if we're trying to stretch that back part of the neck. Rolling the spine up 1 vertebrae at a time to stack. We hold on to the ankles to help us in this tall posture, or bring hands behind your back to prop you up. And from here, we continue to stretch that neck. We drop the right ear all the way over the right shoulder. Tilt the head just a little bit behind the shoulder, about an inch or so. Getting a new part of the neck stretching, not crunching any vertebrae bones. Just a gentle stretch through some of the muscles. And bring the ear back over the shoulder. Tilting the head slightly forward of shoulder, the nose starts to turn down just a little bit. And then roll the chin all the way down to the chest. Head begins to float back up to neutral. And then lift up the chin, not to crunch the bones on the back, but to stretch the fleshy tissue on the front of the throat. Usually I can really get into it by jutting my jaw forward. And as that releases, drop the left ear over left shoulder. The head rocks back slightly behind the shoulder. Ear rolls back over shoulder. Head slightly in front of shoulder, nose starts to turn down. And then relaxing chin all the way back down to chest, the head is heavy. Head floats back up, the knees rise up together. We're having the hands stay on the knees to take some seated cat-cow variations. And so when we exhale, we round the spine backwards. Inhale, heart goes forward and through, try to arch the spine. If the knees go out slightly, that sometimes gives us a little bit more leverage to arch the spine. So that's perfectly fine to wiggle the knees as needed. Exhale, spine rounds back. Inhale, forward, up and through. Let's take 2 more of those. And 1. Beautiful. Legs come back together, upright. Releasing the knees, we're rolling back down onto our back. 1 vertebrae at a time. Just very, very gentle versions of core stuff today. Slide the feet in. Hands are planting on the floor next to the hips. And we roll ourselves up 1 vertebrae at a time into bridge pose. If you can clasp hands behind the back, take that clasp. Walking shoulders under. We're lifting our spine higher and higher. One more good inhale, try to lift higher. Exhale, release hands, release shoulders, roll all the way back down. Once your vertebrae is rested all the way down through the hips, bring the knees back in. We're rolling like a ball. Several times this time, getting that massage all the way up and down the spine. One more time back. And then coming forward, plant the feet, plant the hands behind you, lifting our hips up into reverse tabletop position. What can you feel here? You can feel some toning through the legs. I feel a nice shoulder stretch if I'm really able to lift high. Definite work of the back muscles, the glutes squeezing, all sorts of good stuff. So take another huge inhale. And exhale, hips set down, both legs straighten out in front of us. Circle up to the sky with a straight spine. Exhale, forward fold. Getting that stretch even longer through the hamstrings here. A lot of you know the YouTube comedian JP Sears. He's awesome because he talks about yoga and enlightenment and all sorts of these themes in almost a sarcastic way that helps to see, helps keep a good balance in our spirituality. But I was recently listening to a video of him specifically talking about the COVID-19 stuff, and he filmed a version of himself being an authoritative person who was, of course, giving ridiculous advice. And this authoritative person was like, okay, you want to know how we can be the most stressed possible? The first thing I recommend is taking short breaths. And in fact, whenever possible, try to hold your breath entirely. Just don't let yourself breathe. That's a good way to get yourself to be in that stress response. And it's absolutely true. And so here, let's go back to that 3-part yogic breath. Take a huge breath into the belly, side ribs, collarbones, and exhaling down reverse. Helping us to breathe even in deep stretches. So another good breath. We can start to rise our way up to sitting. The right foot slides in. We take a nice twist, left hand or left elbow grabbing onto the knee, winding the spine into a twist, gazing all the way back behind us. As we return forward, the knee flops down to the side. We stretch over the left leg. Inhale up, exhale forward fold. Starting to rise up, we're switching out the legs. Take the twist over that left side now. The right hand or the right elbow hooks. We wind our spine into that twist. Release, drop the thigh down, inhale, circle up, exhale, release all the way forward. From here, as we rise back up, swing both knees underneath the body. Once we've got our knees underneath us, we're taking a camel's pose. So tucking both feet behind us, we're going to try to reach the hands all the way back. If the hands can't go back, that's not comfortable for the spine, you're welcome to just leave hands at the hips. All of us start with hands at the back side of the hips. This keeps our low back safe as we're traveling down. Hips push forward, trying to encourage this 90-degree angle between knees and hips to stay in place. So hips go forward. From there, the spine lifts up to travel backwards. Maybe one hand goes down to an ankle, maybe both. If you do have both, did you lean farther backward or can you continue to push the hips forward? Feel that it's not just the bones on the back that are just kind of crunching. You don't want that to really be what this is about. This is about the length. So see if you can allow your entire abdominal area to really lengthen and strengthen. chin can stay up or rest it on the little pillow of your shoulders. Let's take 2 more deep breaths. With the second exhale, hands work their way back up to the low back. Rising all the way up, settle into a child's pose for a moment, giving the spine, giving that kind chance to be here in this opposite version. Rising up to a kneeling spot, our hands are under our shoulders, our knees are under our hips, and we take a twist. The right hand reaches all the way up to the sky. Roll that wrist out a few times, just feeling that part of your body nice and calm, very alive. And then thread this right arm all the way through, trying to get the shoulder to touch on the ground. If you can't quite touch, bring a block to support that shoulder. This left hand is welcome to stay in front of the face, pressing into the ground to create the spinal twist. It could also wind around the back or reach forward, walking up toward the top right corner of the mat. Just find the variation that feels kind and helpful to your body right now. Left hand slides in front of the face, press into it to gently unwind the spine. Make a little movement, any sort of barrel roll or cat-cow that feels helpful to the spine right now. Any of that is welcome. And then left arm reaches all the way upward. Pause there, taking a few of those wrist rolls. Ready, arm threads all the way under and through. Same option that you took on the other side. Are you pressing into the ground? Are you winding the arm behind your back, trying to walk the fingers toward the hip crease? Or are you stretching forward, walking that right hand toward top left corner of the mat? Good inhale. Exhale, slide this right hand all the way back in. Press into it to rise. Again, a chance for the spine to move. It feels intuitively, whatever feels helpful. From here, it's almost like we're going to slither forward and through to rest down onto our bellies. And so bending the elbows, see if you can bring the heart close to the ground. The chin grazes the ground, the heart rests and the belly rests all the way down. And from here, with the belly all the way resting, we float the hands about 2 inches above the ground. 10 little pulses. So with our inhale, we lift the back off the ground. With our exhale, we lower back down. There's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Taking a Sphinx pose, the elbows come right under the shoulders. Hands are planting down so that the heart can be pulled forward and through. Again, think of the abdominal area trying to get a stretch. With that stress response, our muscles will get tighter than normal. That's one of the natural ways that we react to stress. And so see if you can stretch through that, helping to remind the muscles long and lean is preferable. And we're going to support the body with this breath. So even in the stretch, see how deep of a 3-part yogic breath you can take. It's a little different, but take a few more just like that. Inhale. With the exhale, moving into a quad stretch. Left hand swivels in, right hand reaches back to right toes. Pull it in for just a nice stretch for the quad. As we start to release, switch it out, grabbing left toes. Release, hands come under shoulders. Take another moment through child's pose. This for me is one of those poses of surrender. So while my natural habit during stress is to do more to keep on going, for me this pose is symbolic of that rest that I need to encourage myself to do, so that I'm not overworking and overburdening my physical body and my energy. Just a few good breaths. Try the 3-part yogic breath right here. Another good inhale. With our exhale, let's begin to prepare for a downward facing dog. Remember, you're welcome to pedal out. You're welcome to lift the hips high. Find the variation that's working for your body right here. How does it feel shifting hips a little bit left and right? Getting into some of the tight areas just along the side of the thigh. Good, and from here let's make our way gradually up to the top of the mat. The feet will start a bit wider than normal, about as wide as the mat. And from here, slide the hands all the way down as far as you can reach on the toes. With any inhale, trying to get that 3-part yogic breath, the hands slide up to a nice flat spine. Exhale, we slide back down. 3-part yogic breath. Take a few more rounds. Inhale. With our exhale, as the hands slide back down, turn the toes slightly outward. We're trying to head to Malasana pose. If your knees don't like the full Malasana, just stay in this high squat position. If you're going down low, we're trying to get our feet all the way flat on the ground. And so usually stepping the feet slightly closer or slightly further will get that spot that's just right. Elbows push into knees, spine lifts up tall. 3-part yogic breath here if you didn't naturally take it. One more good inhale. Exhale, hands start to drop down, the legs straighten back up, toes turning forward. For this one, we'll clasp our hands behind the back of the head so that the hands bring a little bit more weight to the spine and to the head. Letting the spine hang just a bit heavier than before. The knees are working towards straight, never hyperextension, but it is okay to have a little bit of a bend here. That's fine. With our next exhale, drop the hands down. And inhale, circle through the sides, stretching up, arching back, hands dropping all the way down to the heart. Good. So from here, we're going to take a nice step, just step directly back into warrior one with the right foot forward. So just stepping directly into that pose, letting the knee bend just a little bit. We're starting to feel some of the front of the hip area stretching. Arms circle all the way up to the sky, and then peel the elbows out to the sides like cactus-shaped arms, just nice 90-degree angles. Peel them backwards and let the heart lift up and back. Again, just getting to the abdominal stretch, no crunching on the spine. Another good inhale. Exhale, clasp the hands behind the back. Bowing forward, the arms pull into a shoulder stretch behind us. The hands drop down, sweep like a circle, the arms all the way back up to warrior one position. Take another inhale. Exhale, open up into warrior two. Starting to give the inner thighs a chance to open up nice and firm. Posture's tall, the vertebrae stacked, but shoulders are relaxed. We don't need that extra tension in our body. Taking extended side angle for a moment, the front elbow drops down or fingers rest downward. The other arm stretches long forward. Circling back up, reverse it. Back fingers on back leg, stretching up and back. Rising back up, straighten the front leg, preparing for triangle pose. So begin to lean toward that right side, dropping the hand down. You begin to notice an additional triangle shape made just by that right arm dropping down. So find as much length through the waist as you can, peeling the shoulder backward. Nice straight arm and straight legs, those straight positions form that beautiful, strong triangle. Lifting this left arm up to the sky, gaze upward unless that throws off your balance. And then you're either going to stay right here in this pose or come forward with me into half moon pose, taking a slight bend to the front knee as we prepare our weight to transition onto that leg. Cartwheeling the right hand down to the outside angle. Shoulders stack, hips stack. Find this lift upward. Can you take 3-part yogic breath even here? Belly, rib cage, collarbones, and reverse it. Another deep inhale. And with our exhale, see if you can gently land that back foot, going immediately into triangle pose once again. Good. Rising all the way up. Turn the toes out. Just a moment with goddess pose. Pulsing down and up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse the direction of the warrior 1. So left toes up to the top of the mat. We're starting to turn our hips all the way forward. The arms sweep up to the sky. Once the arms are up in warrior 1, the elbows bend out to the sides, cactus shape. So the whole spine arch slightly backwards. Another good inhale. Exhale, clasp the hands behind your back. Pull the arms away from you, dropping all the way down. Completely releasing the arms down, sweep them forward and up with a good inhale. Just take a nice exhale. Inhale one more time, lifting up tall. Exhale, rotate up in warrior 2. Sometimes widening the stance can prove to be beneficial. Can you feel the inner thigh stretching? If not, can you lower yourself just a little bit? Never let the knee go past the toes though. Instead, widen the stance some more. Inhale. Exhale, extended side angle. Elbow down, stretching all the way forward. Rising up, reverse it out. Back hand drops down, feel the stretch up and backward. Good. Rising back up, triangle pose, front leg goes straight. That's one part of the triangle. Leaning forward, drop the straight arm down. That's another part of the triangle. And find length through the waist. It would be easy to kind of round here, just try to reach as much as you can, but then we're completely sacrificing that part of the triangle. So instead, find length all the way up to that shoulder. The other shoulder squares back, and reach the right hand directly upward to the sky. Good inhale. Exhale, if you're heading toward half moon pose, rise up just a bit. Start with the bent leg and cartwheel your way down into our half moon pose. Gaze can be down, up to the side, or up, depending on what's working for your balance today. Find that shape. When you're steady, take the 3-part yogic breath, even here. More huge inhale. Exhale, gently find yourself landing, straightening that front leg, and traveling back into triangle. Beautiful. Rising up, turn the toes to this long edge of the mat or slightly inward, clasp the hands behind your back. And you begin to bow forward, pulling the arms into a beautiful shoulder stretch from behind. So the first time that I really realized that my stress response is to work harder was when I was about 12, my mom was hospitalized for mastitis, and having, the main female figure suddenly not in your house, I felt this need to step up into her shoes. And so I started doing all the house chores I could possibly do, even to the point where I wasn't really wanting to go to bed. I was wanting to stay up till 9 and 10 p.m. just doing more chores and sweeping the house and taking the trash out and all these things. And so that's when I first realized that that's my stress response, is to work hard and to just do so that you don't have to feel those uncomfortable feelings. If your hands are tired, bring them to the backside of your head, weighing your head heavier here a little bit longer. And so I've noticed those same types of reactions during this pandemic. My reaction, rather than feeling anything, has been to just work harder, and I need to do more things and keep on going faster. And so today just is that nice day to make myself slow down, not work so hard, and stop putting things on the to-do list. It's like, how much can I put into next week, and schedule in for certain times rather than just doing everything today. Take another huge breath. And then exhale, let's work our way back up to downward facing dog, walking your hands up to whichever side of the mat you consider the top. Stepping the foot back, we're lifting high downward facing dog. Feel the spine, perhaps just naturally by breathing and calming ourselves, you already feel a spot that's a bit more flexible than before. So from here, leave the left foot down, float the right all the way upward, and then step that right foot all the way in between the hands, dropping down onto the back knee. Hands can stay on the ground if your balance isn't working that good today, but if you can, bring your hands to just rest up on that top thigh. Try to resume that shape. And so from here, we're going to gently pulse ourselves forward as deep as our weight can go, and then gently release back away from that stretch. Nice and slow like that. 4 more times. 3. 2. This last one, stay a few extra breaths, sinking all the way forward. Maybe you even want to increase this, the hip stretch even deeper by leaning backwards a little bit. Hands can stay on the thigh. They can open out like wings behind you, or even stretch all the way up. These are all your options, whatever feels good. 2 more breaths. Try to keep as much of that 3-part yogic breath as possible. After that exhale, hips go over the back knee, front leg goes straight. We simply relax down, completely releasing to the earth. Completely relaxing into the stretch. It's taking it in more of a passive way than normal, rather than kind of trying to force it to happen. Instead, we're setting up the shape and then just asking gravity to take over. We're going to relax and release, knowing that we don't have to do it all. It will be done. It will take care of itself. Another good breath into the body. And then with the exhale, this right foot is going to cross over to the left side. So this essentially sets it up like the cow face pose, the Gomukhasana pose. We've got the right leg swiveled off to that left edge, and the left toes are swiveling off that right edge of the mat, creating a little bit of space behind us. And this is going to be more like a floating Gomukhasana. We're not aiming to sit the hips all the way back. Rather, we're finding the space halfway between where we're at and almost like a child's pose. The arms start to walk forward so that we can begin to drop the weight of the heart down and only walk the hips, the hands backwards so that the hips are just starting to feel that outer IT band stretch. So it doesn't have to be super far to feel it. Just continue to drop the belly down, perhaps resting forehead down. Feel this variation of the pose. Take another good breath into the body. With our exhale, we slide the front leg forward into pigeon pose. Continue to scoot the back leg backward. We're going to start off in this pigeon pose with a little bit of a back bend. And so hands planting on the floor could be as deep as you want to take it. Maybe you reach that left hand back for those left toes, starting to work on the quad stretch. Sometimes we can start to work the toes into the elbow crease, reaching the hands to clasp in mermaid. No matter what variation we're taking, try to feel the heart arching just a little bit more up and back, feeling that abdominal area stretch. Another good inhale. Exhale, completely release, traveling down into normal sleeping pigeon. Make sure you're not rocking all the way onto one hip or the other. You're right there in that spot in between. And begin to work ourselves to planting the hands. Tuck the back toes, lifting up the back hip. We take three-legged dog, right leg floating just a moment, and then set that right foot down. Left leg flies. Step that foot all the way in between hands, dropping the back knee down. This is the point where we either leave our hands on the ground or if you have the balance, work your hands up to be supported on that thigh. We begin our pulses, pulsing forward, deep stretch, and back up just a little bit to release. Repeating that 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. Another good inhale. Exhale, hips go over the back knee, front leg goes straight. We find ourselves just releasing to gravity at whatever amount is possible right at this moment. Start to cross this right leg over in front so that we've got, or sorry, I think I called that right leg. That's the left leg crossing over in front. Right leg, we swivel those toes off the left edge. We've got that kind of funky crossed position. We begin to kind of head to it as if it was a child's pose. So arms stretching forward. If you start to drop the belly down and you don't really feel anything in the hips, walk the hands slightly backwards from where they were and try to rest back down into it again. You should find a good floating spot, whether you're higher up or further downward. Take another good breath. And then slide this left knee forward, backing the back knee up into pigeon. Taking whichever variation of a back bend we can, whether hands are simply planted and we're arching the heart forward and up. Maybe right hand grabs right toes, pulling it in. Maybe scooting the toes into the elbow crease. We can take the mermaid pose. Whichever variation you have, find yourself coming into that shape. There's 2 breaths. With our release, we square our shoulders forward and completely rest down onto the ground. Breath into the body. With our exhale, last downward facing dog. Tuck the back toes, lift that left leg up high. Feel that little counter stretch. And from here, we make our way all the way down toward a seated position. Try to bring the legs out in front of you first and then roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. If there's any last stretches your body needs, maybe a twist or a last happy baby pose, take another 30 seconds or so just to get any last wiggles you need out of the body. And when you reach a state where your body is open, you're able to be relaxed and comfortable, at that point we settle into our beautiful Shavasana pose today, focusing on this 3-part yogic breath. Inhale, belly. Side ribs, collarbones. Exhale, collarbones, side rib, belly. Just keeping this breath deep and full for these several minutes we have, wrapping up our time together. more cycles of this 3-part yogic breath. Deep, deep inhales and exhales. And then we begin to introduce little movements back to the body. Fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're waking up first thing. When you're ready, eventually rolling over to one side, finding that beautiful fetal position. Another good breath in and out. Pressing our way up toward a seated position. Joining the hands together in front of the heart. Here we make this commitment that today we're going to slow down a little bit. We're becoming a little bit more comfortable with not needing to be busy all the time. With giving ourselves permission that boredom isn't bad, boredom is okay. Maybe we should include more of it in our day. And so with these thoughts, these ideas to lead us into a bit more of a relaxing weekend, let's allow ourselves to wrap up this time we got to share together with the sound of Om. Inhaling together now. Om. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.